Welcome to Literacy Learning in Kindergarten at Denham Court Public School. So what does literacy mean?
The department defines literacy as involving listening, speaking, reading, writing, and spelling. It is the ability to communicate thoughts and emotions, ideas and opinions, and to make meaning from spoken and written messages.
Within the English syllabus, students are provided with opportunities to create and respond to texts. It allows students to begin to make meaning through language and develops an understanding that we use writing, reading, speaking, and listening to help create meaning of the world around us. The English syllabus supports the understanding required in other key learning areas.
Teaching reading involves developing an awareness of print, which involves student developing an understanding that print and writing is organized in a particular way, that we read it from left to right, top to bottom, that it involves words, and that words are letters grouped together with spaces in between. One component of reading instruction includes modeled reading, where the teacher reads to the class.
Another component of reading instruction in the classroom includes the teaching of phonics and phonological awareness. Phonics is the understanding that there is a predictable relationship between phonemes, the sounds, and graphemes, the letters that represent them in written language. Phonological awareness is a critical skill for all students' literacy development and a predictor of later reading and spelling success. Phonological awareness refers to oral language and is the understanding of the different ways that language can be broken down into smaller parts. Phonological awareness consists of 5 subskills, beginning with word, syllable, onset rhyme awareness, moving to the more complex subskills of basic and advanced phonemic awareness.
In all kindergarten hubs at Denham Court Public School, teachers will be utilising the Heggerty Phonemic Awareness Program. This program works on developing those sub-skills discussed earlier, as well as introducing students to basic phonics skills and grapheme phoneme correspondence. It will be accompanied by the use of decodable text in the early months of kindergarten, progressing on to more predictable readers once students have cracked the phonetic code and are learning to read and comprehend more complex texts.
The Heggerty Phonemic Awareness Program ensures a consistent approach to the teaching of phonics and phonological awareness across all kindergarten hubs. All students benefit from explicit and systematic instruction in phonemic awareness, and this program will help to scaffold and support students in hearing and manipulating individual sounds at a word level. Phonemic awareness instruction is powerful, but it does not need to take long. Heggerty lessons are quick and provide students with the practice and repetition they need to reach phoneme proficiency. These lessons will be supported by the use of decodable readers and various fun hands-on activities.
Decodable texts are used to provide students with opportunities to practice what they are learning. They contain a very large percentage of words that incorporate the letter-sound relationships that students have been taught. The books follow sequences which match to the learning sequence in the classroom, so that students are practicing to read words using letters and sounds they are familiar with, and they can decode them independently. Decodable texts increase in complexity as the students learn more of the phonetic code.
Writing is a process. A child's writing development matches to their development as a reader. Part of early print awareness is realising that writing can be created with everyday tools such as pens, pencils, crayons and markers. Children begin to imitate the writing that they see in the environment. What often starts as scribbles end up being important clues to a child's understanding that print carries meaning. Writing grows through explicit instruction and is a skill with rules and structures. Good writers are created through systematic, explicit instruction combined with many opportunities to write and receive feedback. Writing may be the most complex process that we expect our students to learn.
At Denham Court Public Schools, teachers will be focusing on developing students' fine motor skills. Fine motor skills are finger and hand skills such as writing, cutting, opening lunchboxes, and buttoning buttons. In kindergarten, students' fine motor skills are refined and children begin to cut more precisely with scissors and write precisely on the line, as well as writing letters and numbers more neatly and with correct formation. Wherever possible, fine motor activities will be integrated into students' literacy and numeracy learning activities.
Sound walls will be featured in Denham Court Public Schools kindergarten hubs. A sound wall supports students by focusing on the articulation of sounds and the various letters or letter patterns that represent the sounds in words. This is important because when we hear language, we hear words as whole units. With visual representations of the sounds students hear in words, students will be supported to independently spell unfamiliar words whilst writing.
Encouraging students to talk about their drawings before writing allows early writers to turn their oral stories into written text. It allows them to formulate their ideas, use rich vocabulary, and develop an understanding that writing is a part of a meaning-making process. Research has found that when drawing is valued and given priority as a meaning-making system for children, particularly within the first 6 months of school, the written texts created when they write are longer and more complex. It is also important to note that the goal for kindergarten to achieve by the end of the year is to independently write short text with correct punctuation, and a lot of focus is upon developing a solid understanding of correct sentence structure. Students will be working on verbalizing their ideas and holding on to these ideas in order to independently write their sentence. Teachers will encourage students to use the sound wall and call upon their phonics and phonemic skills to write words independently.
Speaking opportunities allow students to ask relevant questions, speaking clearly and purposefully with small groups, with their partner, and the class. Listening opportunities allow students to demonstrate active listening skills as they respond to a widening variety of texts and instructions. Interacting opportunities allow students to communicate effectively using familiar and learned vocabulary. Students interact appropriately, learning to interact according to the audience.
Students will begin kindergarten learning to develop active listening skills when in the classroom. They will develop the skills required to be a part of classroom discussions. Active listening includes listening to whoever is talking, maintaining eye contact, and responding appropriately at the appropriate times. In kindergarten, students will learn to develop listening bodies that remain still, which allows them to ignore distractions. These skills will be built upon throughout their time at school.
At Denham Court Public School, we will engage in many opportunities where students can collaborate with their peers. Through play-based learning and project-based learning, students will learn how to cooperatively work with others, listen to others' ideas, and work through challenges to solve problems. Students will be supported to accept others' ideas and offer their own ideas in an appropriate manner.
Students will also learn to express their feelings through the regular use of circle time. They will develop an understanding of spoken language through poetry, modelled reading, and songs. Students will be a part of many informal conversations with teachers and their peers. We hope this was helpful.